Long time no see, everyone. Welcome back to my channel here on YouTube. I kind of left you all in the middle of something, let's say. I was ranking songs from Eurovision for every country from the year 1993 up until modern day, and I kind of stopped after Romania because I was moving, started a new job, and I'm busy, busy, busy. But when you work within the world of the education system, I guess, you get a few breaks here and there. So right now I'm enjoying my break, and while I'm enjoying my break, I figured I might as well try and at least do some kind of progress on this little series because I have some more time available to me. And the country that I stopped right before is Russia. So they have a bunch of songs, as you see on the screen, that I'm gonna try and put into categories that you see above said songs. We have Among the Greatest category, a fantastic category, really great. It's just a lot of greats up here. Solid songs. The I Like It But category, where I have some positives and some negatives. A Not For Me category, and a What Happened Here, which is just the most absurd and awful things, I guess. And I'll try and put all of these songs into these categories. Now, it's a bit of a tricky one to kind of tackle Russian entries in Eurovision because there's, this kind of horrid irony that's appeared in relation to the songs with what the political situation is. I kind of feel like I'm obliged to just isolate performances, music, songs from a context here, because at the end of the day, all I really want to do is just discuss music, regardless of where it comes from. So that's what I'm going to try and do. And it's just because there's a political situation that might not be very positive or ideal, doesn't really mean that everyone involved or everyone is involved in that. And in all honesty, I've been listening to a lot of Russian music lately. I'm incredibly fond of Russian music for whatever reason. I think there's just something about how the language sounds, and there's a certain quality in it, I think. So I'm actually, I could actually do a little, what do you call it? Recommendation right here, right now. I'll actually be linking one of my Spotify playlists in the description with some Russian music. If you're ever in the mood to listen to some Russian music, I've got tons of it that I really recommend. So I'm gonna be leaving that for anyone interested. Uh, Regardless of anything, I think it's time to start analyzing some other Russian music. Bunch of songs. We're gonna start with their first effort in 1994. What a way to debut, huh? Can't really tell you what this song is called, but one thing I can tell you is that I love it, love it, love it. It's one of my favorite songs from the 90s period, I think. I mean, it's not just Eurovision related, it's everything related. I just love the kind of explorative style that this song has. It takes unexpected turns. There's verses that both have a sense of comfort and a sense of suspense and mystery to them. As they progress, they have like different segments within the verses, which has a really nice flow. It's very unexpected because it's a very contrastive tones that it offers, but it does it very seamlessly. I think it flows really nicely, and into the chorus. The chorus is very out of the ordinary from what you kind of heard in the verse, but I don't think it's too much of an abrupt change. It is a bit abrupt, but it's done in a charming way, I think. And when it also goes back into the verses again, it's kind of seamless. It just works within the whole world that they've established with the song here. And I think the chorus is absolutely impeccable. Like the power and the drive it has with such a vocal performance. I'm just floored every time I listen to it. I love it to bits. Great song, like as an overall package, I love it. But I think the chorus just has this melody, the intonation of it, combined with the language. In all honesty, it sounds perfect. The backing track is grand. It really just builds this really, what do you call it, like a hard-hitting impact that really connects with me. Also loving the whole, the whole instrumentation of this song is just something so special to me. I love it. I think that's a fantastic effort. It might actually, oof, I feel like I'm just talking about it so positively, maybe more so than I've done with other songs that I've actually put at the top. So I think I feel like I need to do this. ah, I think it should be up there for me. For my personal taste, it should be up there. So we'll put it there. 1995. I won't put that up there. Not really sure what this song is called either, but I'm sure you recognize him. The backing vocalists, I think, are quite strong in this song. There's like this dramatic tone throughout the whole song. Kind of hard hitting, a bit over the top for me. It does a bit of the progression isn't really cohesive enough for me. I think it just kind of ponders on, doesn't really grab my attention all too much. But the backing vocals are kind of solid. There is like a purpose with the song, I assume. So we'll put it here. And it's gonna get some company from the 1997 effort as well. Prima Donna is over the top. It's very character driven, I think. Vocal performance is quite strong, but at the same time, it's just a song that doesn't really interest me all too much. So I think I'll just have to put it down here. It's like these very, what do you call it? Like it seems like every time they offer like a rhythmic input from the instrument, it feels like it's a very heavy input that just kind of weighs the song down. It feels like the song is trying to carry a bag that is way too heavy up a mountain. That's a weird analogy, but that's kind of what I'm feeling. Let's keep it to that. 2000 Solo, good pop song, really good pop song, really great. Choreography is strong. The chorus is memorable. Chorus is catchy. It's well performed, well sung. No complaints really. It's just all very well executed and well thought out. Not sure if I have anything else to say about it, to be honest. Memorable hook. Verses aren't too interesting, but I think it's a really great effort altogether. Gave them a good result as well, so it's always nice to see. What comes after, like there are a few of these just kind of absurd entries from Russia. The like the performance of the vocalist here, like how he expresses himself on stage, sure leaves an imprint in my head. But as a song, it has these a bit of a wacky ideas here and there. Lyrically, it's a bit odd combined with how he performs it. Whenever he says smiling, it kind of gives me the creeps. But at the same time, I think there's a nice little hook to it. There's a very assertive guitar playing. There is a kind of strong intonation. And also, I like the instrumentation, how it flows between itself, kind of, because it varies a lot throughout the song, which I think is quite charming. I think there's another song that we're going to talk about a bit later, which does this better and more kind of in a charming manner, I guess. But I still think this one is solid. Not really any complaints. I think it's a bit like, is funny the right word? It sure is memorable to an extent, and I don't really have anything against it whenever I see it. I have a good time watching and listening to the song, so it's here. Now, Northern Girl. I'm gonna melt you. It's a very... I mean, being from Scandinavia and the North, I'm not sure if this pickup line would work very well. Perhaps I should try it out one day, see how that goes. It's just very off-putting, isn't it? The whole kind of aspect, like the whole kind of concept of the song, I think is just quite off-putting. They're not really boy band material, I'd say, without trying to be rude. The song has a hook which is kind of all over the place. They sing on top of each other in a very messy manner. I think the verses work quite well, where they kind of have isolated segments to each, everyone has their own part, which works much better in a song like this. And I think also there's like this instrumental beat in the verses, which has quite a distinct melody with kind of like a guitar walk, which is really memorable, I think. And I like the verses of this song. I think there's a nice tone to them. But the chorus is just a bit too all over the place. They're not really synchronized on stage as performers or vocalists. It all just kind of becomes a little bit of a train wreck, but there's still charm to it, I think, because of I don't know, there's just something in it that I find somewhat funny and enjoyable. I think it wouldn't be fair to put it below two songs that I don't really care for. So at least I have a good time with this one. So we'll put it in the I like it but category. Something I will put way higher is Never ne boisiania prosi or something like that by Tatu. Um, I'm not sure if I'm biased or anything, but I mean I loved their music when I was growing up. Um, but I honestly think that this probably is one of my absolute favorite songs by them. I just love the whole hectic atmosphere of it. It's so all in throughout the entire runtime of it. The drumming is insane. I love the production quality of the song. It's mixed flawlessly. It sounds still, modern with this kind of underground, dark alleyway type of soundstage to it. Just really assertive, very driving really like the whole instrumentation of it and the vibe that it really sets. And with these vocals being very either whispery or very piercing in like the shoutiness, just love that contrast as well and works so well with the setting here. Lighting on stage is perfect. Like the input of like the drummer going absolutely nuts on the drums throughout the song because it's such a kind of an underground vibe type of song that really kind of strives off of its own drama that it really tries to get across. I'm really just hooked throughout the entire runtime of it. It's not my personal favorite in 2003 because if you know me, then I can't put it above a certain other song from that year. But I actually really really love this. And I know some people are kind of against it because it's too shouty, but for me, it's just perfect. I love the whole identity that it has because nothing else in Eurovision really sounds like this one. Um, I am tempted. I'm not gonna lie to you. I don't really remember how many songs I've actually managed to put up here, but I'm gonna do. You'll have to complain to me later if I'm being too generous here. But I actually really, really, really love this song and the whole presentation of it. I'm gonna put it up there. And I can actually do a nice segue to the next song by saying I'll put it up there, and believe me, I just don't care. Uh, that was terrible. I'm sorry. 2004, believe me, it was almost as bad as the vocal performance for this song because I don't know how, but this song I think it finished like in the top 10, which is well. There's something in the instrumental here. I kind of like it. It has this, typical. I don't know what it is, but I get the 2004 vibe from how the song just sounds, which is fitting because it came out in 2004. But I just think there's something with the year 2004 that just sounds 2004. Doesn't really make much sense, but there is something in it. I just get the vibe that it's from 2004, which it is. I'll stop saying 2004 now. It's not a really a good song. The chorus is quite monotonous and repetitive. The vocal performance isn't good, but the verses have, or no, the verses aren't really that great either. But the chorus has in the backing track, there's like an instrumental, the way the instrumental sounds and the way it backs up the hook is quite strong. Is that enough for me to put it? No, it's not. This is not for me because the vocal performance is too weak and the song doesn't really interest me. But there is like just the tone and the atmosphere of the instrumental in the chorus is something that I'm fond of because it sounds 2004. 2005, on the other hand, this it kind of goes hand in hand with this because it's incredibly repetitive. The chorus is mind-numbingly annoying towards the end because all they have to do for variation is kind of just vocal acrobatics, which is kind of just not my thing. They loop the line "Nobody hurt no one" probably 5 million times. The instrumental, though, it's very similar to the 2004 song. The instrumental sounds good in this one, and I think there's a bit more variation and a bit more interesting of an impact in the verses. And I'm quite fond of the instrumental. I'll put it here next to Northern Girl. They can be next to each other. It's quite solid. Backing vocals have a purpose, which is always nice when they do. And I like how the song introduces itself with guitar only, which the guitarist kind of overplays massively as he goes on stage, which is kind of off-putting, but no matter. But I like the when the drumming joins in because it kind of goes in a backbeat combination, which is a bit unexpected when you just hear the intro of the guitar isolated, which I like. That's a nice little detail that I'm fond of. So we'll bump it up there because of that, I guess. 2006, this is fantastic. One of my favorite songs from early Eurovision, like early Eurovision if you consider when I started watching. I started watching in 2003, so this was still early days for me. Um, and I absolutely loved this song back then, and I absolutely love it still to this day. Great hook, great vocal performance, lovely flow of the song. The instrumental is strong, it's very palpable. The performance is great with like a bit of the tacky ideas, but it still just works excellent in an excellent way. Um, really think it's a full package of everything. In all honesty, there's nothing to find a flaw with in this song, in my opinion. It's a very very memorable hook and delivered with such great presentation. I can't complain anything about it. And Russia are in a good streak here. 2007. This is it's also fantastic. Um, Maybe not everyone agrees on that. I've seen some people not really be too fond of song number one by Cerebro or Cerebro here. But I think what this song really has is attitude, and it has its own identity. There's like a character to this song, which just sets it apart from everything else, especially from everything else that participated in the year 2007. And I kind of think that it takes this edgy tone that maybe other songs have tried to establish before it and after it, and it just takes it all the way. I think this is a song that knows what it wants to do and goes all the way with it, and it doesn't really excuse itself at any point along the way. It has a purpose, and it goes all out and even a bit more to that purpose. Love the hook, very memorable. The instrumental drive throughout the song is very catchy and really just gets me going with it. The presentation of it is fantastic. Like it's just packed with so much attitude. The verses have memorable vocal melodies as well that goes along with the instrumental, and the chorus is just one of these that I mean, I can't really just ignore it when I hear it. It's one of these attention grabbers, I really think. And I'm just liking the whole progression of the song throughout. It's fantastic. I think Believe their only win. I wouldn't say that it's also fantastic, but it's close to it. I mean, a lot of people kind of just dislike Believe because of the fact that it won, but I still think it's a very well written song. It's just unfortunate that Dima Bilan had a better song 2 years prior to it. But I still think this is well written, mainly. I think that's probably its main strength. A bit tacky with the ice skating on the stage, but it also is quite effective, I think. Yeah, it's nice. Good progression throughout the song. Has a memorable melody, even though it's quite a slow-moving ballad. And there's like this the bridge section towards the end of the song also has a purpose to it, which I think is quite nice because it kind of elevates the song. It moves it upwards instead of killing. You know, a lot of songs just kind of kill the beat and create a completely brand new section for after the second chorus. Here they're kind of doing a continuation, and a continuation that builds before killing it, because they do that as well. But they do it effectively, I think, with the presentation, because it's this high note, they kill the music, and it becomes a bit more intimate. It's, you know, it's all down to personal preference, but I still think this song is quite well written. It's well performed and presented, so really great. Mamo is, I know this song has its fans. Unfortunately, I'm not really one of them. I like the drama of it, but it's just not a song that I really connect with. It becomes a bit too shouty for me at the end, which is kind of ironic considering this one is among my absolute favorites. But I'm not really just too invested in the track as a whole, and I think that's kind of maybe the issue, that I don't connect with it. I'll have to put it down here. I like the presentation of it and I like the drama of it, but it's just not something that I can ever connect with, and that's just the way it is sometimes. 2010, this was the song I was talking about before when I talked about the 2001. This kind of goes all the way with just its own little world that it has. There's a lot of variation instrumentally throughout. Very folk inspired that I like, and really just kind of relies on storytelling as a strength, which is very, very nice. Like the vocal performance, even though it's a bit odd. I like the little inputs in the verses of the "What are you doing, man?" and then just the whole presentation of the "I'm looking at your photo" in such a dramatic way and holding a photo. It's so absurd, but I find so much charm in it. Really great. I actually really like it. The chorus is memorable. I like the whole sing along vibe of it as well, that everyone kind of joins in and the strumming of the instruments picks up, and how the verses are so scaled back and more dramatic. It's storytelling at a very fine level. 2011 is the furthest thing away from storytelling, second to only what comes after it. Get You, it's a pop song from 2011 with a choreography that is alright, and a performance that is alright, and a hook that is alright. Solid. It's kind of just harmless and very easy to just forget about it because there were, I guess, better pop songs in 2011. But it did its thing. It was there, and well, it was well presented. So yeah, we'll keep it there. I don't have much to say about it. I have a lot of things to say about Party for Everybody, none of which are very positive. I think it just kind of sickens me how, you know, juries, music experts, ranked this. Yeah, well, I won't go into it. What happened here? I don't know. There, it is charming. I get it. It's old women baking cookies on stage, singing about having a party. It's cute, but it's as from a musical perspective, it's one of the worst songs I've heard in Eurovision. Probably, it's not the worst because there's like Celebrate from 2011, and there are a few others. There's like there's a Malta song that is pretty bad as well. Yeah, but this is very, very far down. I don't really enjoy it. I mean, I get that it's charming and cute and funny, but no, not for me. 2013. What if we all opened our arms? Yeah. Um, it's quite a good song, in all honesty. Well presented. I like the performance of it. The staging is nice. I like the main melody of it. The hook is quite nice. The verses are a bit on the anonymous side, I think, but it's still well presented, well sung, well written. Um, is it like, I don't think it's on? Yeah, well, it's really great. Mm. I'm not sure if I would put it on par with Believe, but it's in the realm of it, I guess. So yeah, Shine isn't really. Shine is a bit of an anonymous entry altogether for me. Um, but I get that they're trying to just kind of play on the twin factor and with the, what do you call it, like the bridge that kind of goes up and down. I don't know what you call it, tilting bridge. Do you call it that? Um, the song doesn't really do much for me. It has a melody that kind of sticks to my head. I like the B section of the chorus, where it's like sending a message to the world. I don't know the lyrics, but the elevation in the melody there is quite nice. But overall, I'm actually tempted to put it down here because I don't really get anything out of it. So I'll just do that. Yeah, yeah, you can do that. You can be down there. 2015, A Million Voices, really great entry. Many unfortunate things surrounding it, but incredibly. It's a well-written pop song or a pop ballad, kind of anthem-like, with a very, very strong performance. It's incredibly well performed. Like the staging a lot, like the lighting with how just piercingly white everything becomes in the choruses. Maybe a bit cheesy, but it's also just, that kind of impact that it really delivers and hits home with me. I like it. But something that I like even more is You Are the Only One by Sergei Lazarev. Fantastic. Brilliant performance, a song that is really memorable and really enjoyable to me. I get a lot out of this. I think it's a very memorable song. I like the drive of the instrumental as well. It sounds, I mean, it got a lot of criticism early on for sounding a bit outdated, which I understand it because it didn't really sound like 2016 production, but it still doesn't make the production any less good because it does what it wants to do. It has this kind of drive that I really get hooked into. And along with the performance, along with the chorus, it's just fantastic, I think. 2017 isn't really fantastic. It's an I like it, but because this is slow moving, but there's still like a pretty atmosphere to this song, I think, and it's it has a character. Not really too interesting, but it still has a very pleasant mood to it. So that's something. I Won't Break, on the other hand, doesn't have that, so not for me. The one thing that I like about I Won't Break is the backing vocals as they come in. No, wait. Is it the backing vocals that come in or the main vocal that comes in? At the final chorus, like the melodies contrast each other and they work together really nicely. That's a strong point of the song. But everything else just kind of falls flat for me. She's sitting on this iceberg and all of the show is basically the two dancers. And then the chorus is kind of grating with the long notes that are just being shouted. Can't really get behind it. Which is what it is, 2019, I can definitely get behind. Scream is great power ballad, really just lives off of its own drama. The atmosphere is great. I love the way that it builds. It goes from minimalism to just the most dominant kind of in-your-face choruses with shouting, with, I guess, screaming in a sense. Works really well. The melody just has this real, like a distinct rhythm to it that really just imprints itself in my head with the 3/4 time signature. Just works really, really well with how the rhythms really establish themselves very assertively in the soundstage of the song. And that goes hand in hand with the very, very strong vocal performance. I like the staging layout as well. I think a lot of people maybe expected even more for the stage performance, but it's a nice layout. And I like the ending a lot, where everything just kind of reaches the ultimate climax. It's a very hard-hitting ending. Maybe even more so in the studio cut, because it feels like it goes all out in a completely different, and not in a completely different way, but maybe a little bit more than what I get or what I receive from the live performance. Still fantastic. I love it. A lot of people say it doesn't really deserve third place, and I completely disagree. 2020, Uno, not my thing, but still funny. So, should we just slot it in the solid category, because it looks a bit empty there? It could be next to Get You and whatever this was. It feels like a bit of a fitting category for Uno. It's catchy. Not really a big fan of the sound design, but it's it's just one of those things that becomes so absurd that it's kind of charming. It's enjoyable, and I like the choreography and everything as well. It's a standout for its own reason, I guess. Russian Woman is also a standout. Love the whole chanting bit in this song. Like it's incredibly like chilling. Whenever I see it with the flames rising and the chant around each other. With this awesome melody, and when the music has kind of died, it just works so well. And also how they implement it in the final chorus, how it works with this hypnotic kind of beat. It's just one of, it has moments where I just get chills. This one, not really overly fond of like the whole concept of the verses and the instrumental beat that it has, but I still think you also kind of need to just appreciate the creativity of it and where the idea has come from and how they've actually gone all out with it, because the execution is kind of similar to what I think the 2007 effort did, that it doesn't really excuse itself. It knows what it wants to do and it doesn't hold back, and that's always admirable, I think. So yeah, that is a list of a bunch of songs from Russia that have been in Eurovision. I'm sure your list would look very different, so do tell me what the biggest changes you would make would be. When I look at the list, I kind of feel like the songs that I've put in fantastic. I mean, some of them, I could probably put them up here. But I'm not going to do that. I think I need to study my own previous lists to really just kind of get a grip of, okay, what did I actually put up here and what did I put here? Because these 7 songs up here are an A+, I guess, in my book. Love them to bits. Also, really, really enjoy these. So yeah, um, quite a strong country in terms of Eurovision. Maybe once things can hopefully settle down quite soon, maybe we'll have a return for Russia. I'd like for the people of Russia to have that, but we'll see. We'll see what everything happens. I wish for the best outcome possible, of course. I also wish for you all to tune back in. Hopefully tomorrow. I think I will post the next video like this. Do watch that if you want to. This has been a long one, so I'm going to round it off here. Thanks for watching. Good to be back, and I hope to see you again soon. Bye bye.